Real Madrid play Liverpool in the 2022 Champions League final in Paris this Saturday. Here's my preview. It's absolutely essential to talk about the head-to-head history between these two clubs. Fun fact for you, the last time Liverpool played Real Madrid in a European final in Paris, Liverpool ended up winning the European Cup all the way back in 1981. Let's talk about more recent history though. Real Madrid infamously beat Liverpool in the 2018 Champions League final. If you recall, that final was heavily influenced by Sergio Ramos's fine touch. Ramos dislocated Salah's shoulder and he concussed Liverpool goalkeeper Loris Karius as well. Salah came off in tears and he ended up missing games for Egypt in the World Cup as well. Karius, on the other hand, ended up making several high-profile errors as a result of his concussion, and that effectively blacklisted him at the top level of European football. Quite honestly, I lost a lot of respect for Sergio Ramos that day. As a footballer, I understand why he did what he did, but as a sports enthusiast, I have no respect for what he did. Anyways, that was 2018. A lot has changed between these two teams' rosters. No more Sergio Ramos, no more Cristiano Ronaldo, and no more Loris Karius either. Let's talk about their most recent matchup in the Champions League. Just last year, Real Madrid defeated Liverpool 3-1 on aggregate to advance to the Champions League semi-finals. My biggest takeaway from those two games last year was the matchup between Trent Alexander-Arnold and Vinicius Jr. I've said it before and I'll say it again, I believe that Trent Alexander-Arnold is the best right back in world football. This being said, it does not change the fact that Vinicius Jr. took him to town, especially in the first leg of their matchup last season. Since then though, a lot has changed. Both of these players have significantly improved this season. I still see the same thing online though. A lot of people are quick to comment that Vinicius Jr. is going to destroy the defensively poor Trent Alexander-Arnold, and let me address why this season's matchup won't be like last year's. This narrative that Trent Alexander-Arnold is defensively poor is garbage. Liverpool's right side is more exposed due to the system that Klopp plays. Trent is a playmaking right back. He's involved with the attack. As a result, he's involved further up the pitch. With that comes positioning risk. That's different from not being able to defend. In a cup final like this, I believe that Liverpool are going to play much more conservative football. I think Klopp is very much aware of the risk that Vinicius Jr. poses with his pace, his dribbling, and his finishing, and I don't think Klopp is going to risk Trent Alexander-Arnold being further up the pitch and exposing that right-hand side. Furthermore, let me remind you of a major factor here. Liverpool actually have their first choice center backs available this time. Instead of Nat Phillips and Ozan Kabak, it's Virgil van Dijk and either Joel Matip or Ibu Konate. It's a massive difference here. Look, I think it's important to point out that I think that Vinicius Jr. is a game changer by every definition of the word. He's certainly capable of changing the game from the left-hand side against Trent. What I'm saying is that those same people who are worried about Trent versus Vinicius should also consider the fact that Luis Diaz will be taking on Dani Carvajal. I'd say that he's just as likely to cause problems for Carvajal. Let's talk about the keys to victory for Liverpool. Liverpool need to play their own authentic style of football. This may seem self-explanatory, but let me remind you that Liverpool's players are gassed. They've played every single game that's been available to them. I don't think people understand the implications of playing as many games as Liverpool's players have done throughout the season. They played and won both of their cups, in extra time mind you, and they pushed the Premier League to the last day. Madrid, on the other hand, won La Liga a month ago and have had the huge benefit of resting and rotating their players. You may be saying, Amir, why is this a big deal? It's key for Liverpool because of the style of football they play. High tempo, high pressing, it takes a lot out of players. Again, this comes with a price though, injuries. Fabinho and Thiago are major injury doubts for this game. Fabinho recently returned to full training, but I still question if he's actually fully fit for this game. Thiago, on the other hand, might be available, but it's not confirmed as of yet. These are two major blows for Liverpool. Fabinho is the key defensive player for Liverpool's midfield. Fabinho is the player that's going to be responsible for stopping Madrid's transition from midfield to offense. If Fabinho can get in there and stop the balls from Kroos and Modric's supply line to Benzema and Vinicius, Liverpool are going to have a great day. I can't understate how important Thiago is to Liverpool. He's a deep-lying playmaker who's always looking to get on the ball and control a match throughout his passing. He is consistently one of European football's top progressive ball carriers. This is a major blow if Liverpool miss out on him. Creatively, it's going to ask a lot for Naby Keita, who I believe is going to be his likely replacement should Thiago not be able to play. The potential absences for Thiago and Fabinho in Liverpool's midfield is a major X factor heading into this game. Let's talk about Real Madrid's keys to success now. Quite honestly, it's really simple for Real Madrid. Stop Liverpool from playing their style of football. Real Madrid's midfield trio of Luka Modric, Casemiro, and Toni Kroos can influence any game. Furthermore, the likes of Camavinga and Valverde are absolute game changers as well. Real Madrid need to make sure that Karim Benzema is getting the touches that he needs in the game. If you recall the first leg of their Champions League quarterfinal matchup last season, Toni Kroos pinged a delightful over-the-top through ball to Vinicius Jr. It's that capability that can stop the momentum in any game. Other X factors include the bench players that both of these clubs have. Real Madrid can bring on Camavinga to influence a game. Valverde might start, but if he doesn't, it's either Rodrigo that starts on the right wing or Lucas Vazquez, meaning that Valverde can come on, or Lucas Vazquez, or even Asensio, or Bale, or even Hazard. These are superstar players that we're talking about off the bench. As for Liverpool, they've got the biggest substitute legend in the game. Divock Origi has put his name in folklore, and if he can do it again in Paris this Saturday, he will go down as the greatest substitute in the history of world football, in my humble opinion. I know you guys are all waiting for this, so let me tell you my prediction for this game. I think that if they're able to stick to their own authentic game plan without getting influenced by Real Madrid's midfield and Karim Benzema, Liverpool will win the Champions League 2-1. This being said, that's a very big X factor. Real Madrid have the capability to influence the game, and God knows that their midfield is going down as one of the GOATed midfields of all time in Champions League history. I'm saying 2-1 Liverpool, but let me know your score prediction in the comments.